know what? We should walk over here and walk down the straight into it.
Okay.
Guess you can't walk in this way today because they're painting, but oh well. The original ticketing. They're construction in here. Redoing it. Great ceilings. Back in the heyday, this place was always full. So nice that they didn't destroy it.
Oh yeah.
Did you ever see that movie Union Station?
Yeah.
Where in the movie up there is where the police office was, but it's not in Union Station really.
Part of Reagan was filmed at the station, and those, whatever they were in the film, were just left behind.
What's Blade on there about there?
What film was that used for?
Blade Runner.
That figures. Harvey House.
This is the Fred Harvey restaurant, closed in the late 70s, early 80s, because nobody was using the train station. And it was started by Fred Harvey. And Fred Harvey was a gentleman who worked for the Senate of the Army. And this is the late 19th century. He traveled by rail a lot, so he was on the railroad. He realized there was no place to eat. So there were not restaurants in the stations. There were no dining cars back then. So cash was cash can. So he came up with the idea of creating restaurants and train stations. And by the time he was finished, there were 80 or 90 all across, mostly in the West. And they were very fine dining, white tablecloths, china, multi-course meals. I mean, this really was a way to make you feel better about traveling by train. The train station itself was created by a team of male architects, John Parkinson being the lead architect. This was designed by a woman, and her name was Mary Elizabeth Coulter. And she was from the South, she was originally actually from Minnesota or Wisconsin, but she lived in the Southwest. And she was very influenced by Southwestern design and culture, and very much a promoter of Southwest tourism, as was Fred Harvey. They wanted people to appreciate the Indian culture and what was going on in this part of the country. So if you look at it, this is the whole stage is basically to remind you of Michigan. And the basic design of this restaurant is that as well, which she brought it from Southwestern but because people now use this for special events and parties, and they don't want chocolate sodas, they want gin and tonics, they raised it to a bar. It seated 26 people, and actually the stool bolts. You can still see the holes around it where the stools were. The entire restaurant seated 260 people. There were dining rooms upstairs. Can't even see it, can you? Open dining room upstairs is seated 60. It's now been walled off. And downstairs, including the booths you see, seated 200. And the kitchen, which is behind the dining room, is almost as large as the restaurant. And the reason for that is it also fed the employees of the station. And when the station opened in 1939, there were 325 employees. So they all got their food here too. And during World War II, soldiers and sailors got preference in here. So if you showed up with a uniform, you got the first seat. How many of you see? You all know the Judy Garland, right? I had a high school class from somewhere in South Bay last year, and I asked about Judy Garland, and none of them had ever heard of her. And my child had seen the Wizard of Oz by the time she was 8 years old. So I said, have you not seen the Wizard of Oz? And they said, yeah, that was Diana Ross. All hope is lost. There is no hope whatsoever for this generation. Here's what the restaurant looked like when it was operational. Oh, it's beautiful. It's really very, very special. And there's a PA system in there that's original to let you know when your train was arriving or departing. So you could like get up macaroni and cheese and get to your train. And then you all know the Harvey girls, right? Why I asked you about Judy Garland. When the restaurants first opened, they had male servers. But at that time, Los Angeles, Virginia was a very wild west town, 1939, believe it or not. And the male servers didn't really help with the image of the restaurant. So Fred Harvey came up with the idea of creating the Harvey girls. And these were young ladies who wore these pinafores in all the restaurants. And they were young, virtuous women from all over the country. And they were kids who weren't going to college, wanted to get out from home and get some adventure, so they joined the Harvey girls. That said, they didn't have a lot of room because they were very, very tightly controlled. Some of the restaurants even had dormitories attached. The girls had curfews. They signed 1-year contracts, and if you broke the contract, you were gone. So they were very proper. That said, there's an adage that the Harvey girls fed and populated the West. So after their 1-year tour of duty was over, they could do whatever they wanted. And this is such a long game. So that's the Harvey House. It's a wonderful bar, which is all Art Deco. And there are mirrors all the way down it with sort of Lawrence Welk champagne bubbles on it. And it's all done in Miami Vice colors, sort of coral and turquoise. It's really quite amazing. And when this restaurant opens, as soon as it ever does, it's been closed for almost 40 years.
40 years it's been closed?
Yeah. But obviously very well taken care of. If you want to sit down, I can actually tell you about the station, so you don't have to stand up in there while I'm talking. Does that sound good? Or not?
Good.
You care?
No.
Anyone care? Okay.
We just were sitting down to kill time, and then the guards came and told us we couldn't sit here.
Yeah, I know. That's a shame. I don't have to talk to the Conservancy about that because I know I don't have my badge, but if I did, I could sit there.
Yeah.
Before we go in, I want to let you know sort of what the pattern. This was designed after the Santa Barbara courthouse. They were very taken with the Spanish design.
Right.
And the tower is almost virtually identical.
That's
You know the Santa Barbara courthouse. You don't need to see a picture.
Yeah. I'm from Santa
Oh,
Barbara.
you're the one from Santa Barbara. Sorry.
It looks like the courthouse.
Yeah.
Definitely does.
So they brought the architects. This predated this. They brought the architecture team down to LA to meet with Parkinson and his group, and they came up with this. So the station was finished in 1939. So in 2014 it was his 75th birthday, and they did a major cleanup of the station, repainting. I mean, it looked pretty good before that. So let's go in the front door. And as you walk through, and here's the first example, there were Moorish stars all over the station. And even though this is Spanish in architectural design, the Moors occupied Spain for hundreds and hundreds of years, and their design had a lot of influence on Spanish architecture. So any of you who've been to Spain, you would know that. And this is the Moorish stars and an monument that holds them. And they're everywhere. I have some third graders in here because we're fast off the wall. I signed in the town. Before we go in, I want to point out the white building, the first three-story building in Los Angeles. It's called the Pico House. Built in 1871 by Pio Pico, who was the last Mexican governor of California. And it was really sort of where the hoi polloi and power brokers in the city went for